I'm Jane Donovan. Come and join me on my new show, The Park Bench, where we discuss, share points of view, wisdom and advice on all the hottest topics being pondered in today's world. This is a show by all of us, for we the people, where you get to have your say on what really matters to you. Together, let's co-create to get the conversations happening right here on the park bench. I deeply believe we are manifesting all the time, be it in the positive or the negative. We do not need to be conscious for this to be so. The law of attraction states that like attracts like, and so whatever we are attracting at any given time is that which we are currently in. Years ago, a documentary and book on manifesting went viral around the world. It was called The Secret and was wonderful in introducing people to the concept of manifestation. However, a big part of manifesting was missing from the documentary. Well, in my opinion anyway, and that is the law of vibration. The law of vibration dictates what it is that we are attracting. The law of attraction states, as I said, that like attracts like, such as if we're feeling fabulous, we attract more of that. If we're feeling anxious, we attract more of that. However, our emotional state is what our vibrational state is. And so the law of vibration, therefore, dictates our point of attraction. As we raise our vibration, we raise our attraction point to be more in alignment with that which we really are desiring. The challenge often comes, though, with the alignment. We must come in alignment with that which we desire. And so to be deliberate, conscious co-creators with the universe, it is to be completely in alignment with our thoughts, our words, and our emotions. So often I witness people sharing with words their desires in life, that which they really want to manifest. However, I also witness actions or emotions that are not in alignment with their words. So as they state the words, the universe starts to line up all that's needed for the manifestation to occur. However, then, if a contrasting thought, words, or emotions are experienced, that manifestation now changes to be the new desire. The energy has changed, the vibration has changed, and so now the attraction point has changed. This is powerful to understand, to enable us to become more consciously aware, to assist us in manifesting exactly what it is that we desire. And now I must share one of my all-time favorite manifesting stories. There are many universal laws that are important to recognize to become a conscious manifester. However, a few simple rules or guidelines are that it is often best to get out of the way of the how. Typically, we'll want to control the how, or we want to imagine it. We want to visualize it. We want to know how is this going to play out. However, I have a beautiful story from a friend of mine. A friend who was being guided by Source to open a healing center. And this story shows just how creative Source can be when allowed the freedom of the how. She'd been working towards the goal of opening a healing center with action around planning and budgeting, etc. However, she was becoming frustrated at the lack of funds to get the center open. So one day, she pretty firmly expressed her frustration at the universe and said that if her guides really wanted her to do this important work, then she needed $15,000 and she needed it now. A few days later, she received her bank statement and yes, there was $15,000 in her account. She laughed at her guide saying, "Thank you. I get the joke. However, it's not my money, so I still can't progress." She went to the bank to show the error, which they agreed they could see it wasn't her who had deposited the money. However, they couldn't see where it had come from. And after a few days, they rang her to say that while they knew it wasn't her deposit, as they couldn't track the money, they were also unable to take it out of her account. She shared she didn't want it, as if she spent it, They would come back in, 6 months or 6 years' time and demand that she pay it back. Here's the interesting twist. The bank issued paperwork to her to say that this is her money and that there is no recall from the bank will occur now or in the future. How cool is that? Thank you, universe. One wonderful healing center opened and a great lesson to us all to get out of the way of the how. So now, let's have some fun listening to our guests who share their stories on manifesting and or methods that they like to use.
Hi, I'm Lane from LifeSource, and I co-host Talking Galactic with my mom, Joyce Heller, and FDA Not Approved with Terry Lynn. So my favorite manifestation story is that I have an Indian guide, or I should say American Indian, Native American, by the name of Running Bear, who has been with me since childhood or earlier. And he works very closely with me on a number of things. But one of the things he does, he's very, very good at finding parking spots. Because guess what? He's a scout. So again, back to New York City, parking is always troublesome at best. And I guess I had come back in around the 2000s, and I had a partner. We were living together, and when we were driving around doing alternate side of the street parking, which means you have to move your car every single day, I would say, okay, Running Bear's going to get me a spot. Don't worry about it. And he was so spiritual, and yet he was so skeptical. He's like, what do you mean Running Bear's going to get you a spot? So whenever he was in the car, it would destroy my energy because I felt under pressure to prove that Running Bear could do it. But when I was alone, and to this day, when I'm alone, I always get a spot no matter where it is, what city I am in, no matter how crowded it is, how impossible it is to find. And I realized that the reason that happens is because I believe in it 100%. So that's what I'm trying to carry over into all aspects of my life to manifest. You have to believe in it, or as you say, Jane, you have to know it. So going from 100% belief into knowledge is the task.
Hi, I'm Peter, and I'm from Canberra. I have a manifestation story. So the story I have is actually, it goes all the way back to me starting a podcast, or prior to that, which, you helped me with tremendously. And it was the moment I chose to go ahead and do it. And it's a funny story. It's actually kind of embarrassing to some degree as well. But I took the kids to see Moana, the movie. And so, I have 5 kids, so there was a good 4 of them at least at that movie. And, in the middle of that movie, I'm crying. I've got tears running down my cheeks, and it's when the main character, and it's a if you haven't seen it, it's a hero's journey type of movie, and the main character's kind of standing on the edge of the water, and the water's been calling her, her whole life, and she hasn't gone for whatever reasons, and mainly because the community around it doesn't want her to go, and her father doesn't want to go. And finally, she takes those steps and she actually goes on that voyage. And I just thought, oh, this is just a metaphor for me, for my life right now. And I have had this calling, my whole life. And, but I was just never had the strength to actually take it. And so, again, it was just a decision. What I decided at that time is I often get bogged down if I don't know the detail of things. I'm not a very detail oriented, and that not knowing the detail will stop me. And so I just let it all go. And you provided me a lot of comfort that I could do it. And so without really knowing how I was going to go about doing it, without really knowing whether it was going to be successful or not, I just let all that go and I did it. And it's funny, as soon as I let it all go, all the places, all the things fell in place to get it done, quite quickly. And it's almost like what has stopped me manifesting before is just making that decision and surrendering. Yeah, surrendering to it. That's the manifestation story, is just kind of being okay with not knowing the answers, not knowing how things are going to work, and just surrendering to it and let it go. However it works, and I don't even need to know that, but it was a distinct change once I decided to let go and not have to know the outcome. I'm not a perfectionist at all, not even slightly, but sometimes I need to know that something's going to work before I do it. And all that kind of lifted once I just kind of surrendered to it.
Hi, I'm Teresa and I'm from Adelaide. Well, I've got a wonderful manifestation story, haven't I? Yes, well, I was looking for my husband died in the year 2000, and it took me quite a while to seek another partner. And when I did, it was one disaster after another. And obviously, whoever I was with at the time was always teaching me something, but they were never quite right. And so I put together a list of what I want in a partner. And there was probably about 30 things that I wanted that were, I was really keen. And most of them had to do with a person's nature and what's in their heart, and how their approach to life, and what's important to them. And I kept looking for this, and I got an email asking if I would like to attend a social aid dinner. And I thought, yeah, that'll be nice. Something to look forward to. And after that night, I came home quite happy, quite content, and that was all fine. And then one gentleman asked for my number, and I thought, you know what, he was actually quite. I was not attracted, but I thought he was a gentleman, and I thought I'd like to have a gentleman as a friend, and if that turns out to be a friendship, that's fine. If it doesn't, that's fine. And at the next event, he was one of my mini dates, and that went really well. And I thought, oh, that was a bit of a surprise. And he was saying all the things that I've always wanted to hear, but there was part of the brain that was saying, you know what, he might be a very smart man who knows what to say to seduce a woman. And I just had that in my brain. And then we had our first date, and that was amazing in that. And I still was very, very skeptical. And he was such a gentleman, and we arrived at the date, and he was there before me, which really impressed me. And he had some roses waiting for me, which really, really impressed me. But I was still, a bit skeptical. And then he hit me with a bombshell. He said, Teresa, he said, I'm 69 years old. He said, I'm relationship ready, but I'm not desperate. He said, I'm looking for a lifetime partner, and I'm hoping it's you. And I thought, oh, well, at least he knows what he wants. Yeah, it's a good thing. But, is this guy crazy, or, is he normal? But I was curious, and I thought, oh, that's okay. But with time and with consistency, I started to understand where he was coming from. And that's what I wanted. I wanted to connect with his heart and understand, where is he actually coming from? And I'm just blown away now. I just think he's actually, I recognise now that he's actually a very, very intuitive man, and he knows what he wants, and he saw straight through me. And I was just, now I'm blown away, and now we're engaged to be married, and hopefully married within the next, I don't know how long, depending. We could get married tomorrow. It just depends, because we're not planning anything extravagant. Because to me now, having a big party is not important. And if we do get married, it's because we want our spirits to be joined, not just physically but spiritually as well, because he has that depth to him as well, which I've never met a man with the same depth that I have got, and that to me is an amazing gift.
Hi everyone, I'm Catherine Hills. I am 33 and I am from the UK. I have loads of really fun manifestation stories actually, but I normally really enjoy the fun ones. I like to think that the universe can have fun with us sometimes. And for example, I'm driving down into town, I'm running late, and I desperately need a parking space that's close. And I will just say, please let there be a parking space. There will be a parking space. I'm going to find a parking space right next to where I'm going. And every time it works. And I just find it so funny. And, you know, just little things like that. You know, I need to find spare change for the parking. And oh, look, there's literally spare change in my pocket. Little things like that always make me laugh. This probably might not be exactly what people were expecting, but one time I was going up to London on the train to meet my very best friend. I hadn't seen her for a really long time, and I was really excited to just see her again and give her a big old hug. And she's the kind of friend where we just sit and we have a glass of red wine together in the pub, and we'll just have a good old gossip and we'll have a good old laugh together, and we'll smoke a couple of fags because, you know, we're having some wine. And on the way up, I remember thinking, oh crap, I haven't got a packet of ciggies, you know, I haven't got a packet of cigarettes. Normally, like I said, I kind of just smoke very casually now. So I don't worry about it being bad for me or anything, because it's only now and then. I got to her at the train station. We decided that we were absolutely not remotely interested in traveling about to find a very busy, nice pub somewhere. So we literally walked over the road to a pub that was opposite the train station. And there outside on one of the tables was a teeny tiny packet of cigarettes, just the exact brand that I would normally smoke if I was to buy some. So me and my friend just looked at each other and we're like, well, there we go. Thanks, universe. So it's just little things like that that make me laugh. But on the other side, there are some bigger manifestation stories that I can share. So for example, when we went on holiday to Bali, one evening we were getting ready to go out, and we were both feeling a little bit flat. I don't know if you remember this, Jane. It is really fun, but I think you were missing your girls back home. I was kind of missing my other half back at home. We were both feeling a bit tired from the day, but we really wanted to go out and enjoy ourselves. We were dressed up and we were walking down the foyer in the hotel, and I said, right, no, we're going to have a really good night out. I'm going to manifest us a good night. And you went, oh yeah, okay, yeah. And so obviously I think I probably had a bit of help from you energetically to manifest, but I just sort of walked along in my flip-flops and I was saying, oh, we're going to have a great night, we're going to laugh, we're going to find some great music, we're going to have some drinks, we're going to feel free. And I just kind of almost channeled my manifestation, if that makes sense. Like I just kind of happily just declared the kind of night that we would have. And we had the best night ever. We found that bar with the band that was so good, that rock band. I don't know if you remember, and you did chair dancing in the bar, and I was like, oh my god, this is so much fun. Being British, I was slightly mortified with the dancing, but you know, that's just me, and I knew it was just me, and I loved watching how happy you were, and I loved the music, and it was so good. So we did good. We kind of just manifested this really great evening out on our holiday when we weren't feeling it at all. So another story, another manifestation story that means quite a lot to me. I used to have a mood board when I was in my 20s. I had a mood board with loads of magazine cuttings that I just pinned to this notice board, and I had it in my room. And I actually had I took a picture of it, and I had it as my phone, my phone and my iPad home screen. So I would always look at it every day and just kind of forgot about it. But one of the things that was on and most of the things on the mood board did come true. But one thing that I thought was very funny was on my mood board, I had a picture of a tall, blonde, very handsome man in a suit, holding a little blonde boy in his arms. So that was sort of my hope for manifesting a husband for myself, and a child in my future. And funnily, it makes me laugh because I now have a tall blonde man in my life and a little blonde boy in my life as well, and but not in the way that I expected. So my other half never wears a suit, funnily enough. He's a builder, but he's a very kind person, and he has a little boy who is my stepson. I've been with Steve for 4 years. Marshall has been so I've been Marshall's stepson since I've been Marshall's stepmom since he's 3. He was 3, he's now 7, and I've watched him grow up, and I know that I'm a big part of his life as well. So I kind of manifested that future for myself, but not in the way that I would expect.
Hello, everyone. My name's Nikki. I'm from Ask the Body Kinesiology in South Australia. Okay, so firstly, my greatest manifestation story is one of loss, actually. It's a clear example of how it can work in the reverse. And that involves you, my beautiful friend, Jane Donovan. And that was, my first understanding of how the law of attraction works. And you had introduced me to the movie and the book. I think it was the book, or maybe we watched the movie that particular day. I think that's what happened. Anyway, you introduced me to the Secret. And so we were together with another friend, and we were our intention was to sit down and to make our manifestation list, to do a vision board. And I was at that time going quite off grid in my personal life, and so therefore becoming quite aware of not needing material possessions, and trying to limit that and bring it into some sort of simplified manner. And then we were together, and you and our other friend were making your lists and creating these beautiful vision boards, and I was just not wanting to put anything on mine. And I can't remember exactly what I put on there, but I do remember saying the words that I don't need or want any of these things. And I remember you very clearly putting things on like, and they weren't just material things. It was, I want to spend more time with my children, so I want my work hours to be during school hours, or, and then you wanted very specific things in your home, which you manifested the ideal business. And I watched all of that come to fruition, I think, within the next 12 months. That's my feeling on it. That's my remembering on it. And in that period of time, as your things were unfolding, and our friend that was also doing the same thing, our family went bankrupt. And so I was witnessing how so it wasn't until some time after that I recognized that I manifested exactly what I asked for. And that was that I said, I don't need anything. I need nothing. Don't need material thing. And so, it's a very long and complicated story about the whole bankruptcy thing, but it was the greatest gift, the greatest thing to ever happen to myself and my family, because action was needed and responsibility around money. And so I had the opportunity to unpack what that meant. Yeah, I think that's my greatest manifestation story, is that I was witness to how you can call something in, and how you can absolutely make, block anything coming in. So what you have to be really present and conscious to what you're calling in. Yeah, that was definitely my greatest manifestation, I think. And then, look, actually, no, I've got one other. When I was embarking upon becoming an instructor of kinesiology, so I work as a practitioner, but I also teach and share the wisdom of kinesiology with students. when I was going through that process of training for that, my mentor asked me to write a letter to my future self, and she sent it to me 12 months later to the day. And that receiving that letter was absolute confirmation that the law of attraction is a thing, and working with vibration and energy and intention is everything, because everything I wrote in that letter, and I remember writing it thinking, this is bullshit. What I'm calling in is not going to happen, most likely. And I went for it. I was saying things such as, you have a waiting list of people coming to see you. You are charging X amount of dollars, and your friends respect the fact that you are honoring yourself and charging, and they are also willing to pay for your time and your services. All of these outlandish things, and you've taught 3 of the introduction to kinesiology courses in the first 12 months. Well, I surpassed what actually came in the letter, and so every single thing on that manifestation letter to my future self came true, and beyond that as well. So that was also a really cool manifestation story.
My name is Rula Turgaidis, originally from Greece. I love to cook, to travel, and to do coaching work and journalistic work. Creative visualization. I've been doing that throughout my whole life. I had no clue that that's what it's called. And I have a story. It's called Winter. I have not enough money, and I need to have a beautiful, warm jacket that might not cost more than 50 euro. And that is somewhere 10 years ago. I visualize myself in that beautiful jacket with a hoodie, and I look at myself in that vision that I pay, that the thing is hanging there, waiting on me, my size, and I give the lady behind the counter 50 euro. I go out of the house, I go to the first shop I enter, and the thing is waiting there. I put it on, I pay 50 euro, and I go out of the shop. Another story, very short. I used to smoke, and I visualize myself how it is not smoking any longer. And I visualize it in a way that all senses were involved. So I even started to smell my hair and smell the washing powder on my clothes. And I visualized me without holding anything in between my 2 fingers, and it all worked out. It really worked out. I stopped cold turkey. Yeah. I used to have dreams and visions since I remember myself, and I had some kind of fears to overcome. And one of those was to really put my voice out there. And I've been told that if I sing, that people are going to ridicule me. And I've been ridiculed. And I started to have the same vision again and again. And that was performing. So I was like, how fun would that be? Let's just try. Maybe this is going to work. And it worked out. And I've been performing at places that in Holland, you go like, oh, really? You did that? I was like, yeah, I did that. The other thing was I gained a lot of weight due to a treatment I had to follow with hormones. And I visualized myself feeling lighter, not just losing the weight, but feeling lighter. How would it be to feel lighter? And then I started to visualize the kind of body that I wanted to create for myself, to really sculpture my body. And I've done it. It took me a year, and I've done it. And I'm going back to that. I want to re-sculpture my body now, because things change a little bit. So these are just really examples of creative visualization. That is how I learned to do stuff. Yeah.
I'm Julia, and I'm from South Australia. And I live in a little town in the Barossa with 3 children. I think of practical things to do, and then you know what? I just do. I just do everything I think of, which sometimes means I've got a few balls in the air at one time, and one of them ends up falling. But I just get ahead and do things, and then I found that so because I've got three kids, right, and I've homeschooled, I've got to initiate our own learning programs, and I kind of do fun things and see if I can incorporate other families, and then any of our interests we make into a project, and we've just got to keep going, and we do. For example, one of my daughters is interested in making flowers for cakes at the moment, so we just throw days worth of time into finding out how to make flowers, and everybody gets involved, and we order stuff and we make stuff, or then somebody starts sewing something. Before we know, we've invented a few patterns, so on and so forth. It so happens that I'm fearless, and I'm not saying that I've just born that way. I'm just fearless. So
hi, my name is Jason, and I'm from Whangaroa, New Zealand. There was this one time in Rarotonga where me and my auntie were driving around trying to find the laundromat. And I was just thinking, where is this place? Surely it's not that far. And then that laundromat's truck just drove past us, so we followed the truck. At that exact moment, I was asking, where is this place? I know it's not far. But there's nothing special about my manifestation techniques except asking questions. Yeah, I mean, you can either accept defeat, or wonder why am I losing here, and the best way to get over a loss is to ask, and maybe there'll be a win that comes from that loss. So for me, it's always about asking questions and not making statements, because statements are facts. Once you've made a statement, that's it. Whereas if you ask a question, then there's the possibility that anything's possible, like everything opens up for you. So for me, it's all, I've always been a curious person. So questions have just been my innate way of being. But I think if people practice more asking questions, they'll be surprised by what comes, the answer that comes.
Hi, it's Adam from Mount Barker in South Australia, 46 and fabulous.
My wife is an excellent manifester, and literally we came out of bankruptcy a fair while ago now, and that stage we were looking to buy a house whilst we were still in bankruptcy, and literally put it on the board, put it on a manifestation board, and there were some opportunities that came up, and though we didn't end up buying the house then, we ended up moving into a house that we ended up buying 4 years later. So the opportunity is always there. The failure in manifestation is not seeing the opportunities that arise.
Hello, my name is Neil. I'm the host of the show and series called Unlocking the Code. I live in the UK, in the northwest of the UK, in a little town called Carlisle, near to the Scottish border. I've been annoyed by the aircraft flying over my house, spraying the air and so on, and chemtrails and whatnot for the last few weeks. And I took the time out a couple of days ago just to put a dome around my house of protection. So, and I manifested that, not only for myself, but for all animals, birds, nature, etc., etc. And since I've done that, it's very weird, but no plane seems to fly over my house anymore.
My name is Larissa, and I migrated from Russia to Australia 28 years ago. And I am accredited energy practitioner and therapist, and I'm running a business named Ascara from down south of Adelaide. Well, we all need to realize that we are so amazingly designed. We combine all of our faculties and the higher faculties that we actually can utilize in creating our own lives. So we can combine our physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, psychological. And if we know how to put our attention and focus into what we would like to manifest in our life, we easily can do it very effortlessly. The only one thing that is on a way for us to manifest very fast and quick is that we don't have awareness, that we have counter current within ourselves that is basically blocking us from manifesting for the benefit of many. Because a lot of time consciously, we only manifest what we really want for ourselves, forgetting that what we divinely created to do is to make benefit for many. And when we are open to this, manifestation will happen very quickly and exactly in the form as you want it. In my own personal experience of manifestation, or actually on a healing journey, I realized that we are not who we've been told all our lives. So when we are connected and believing blindly to the external messages or the information that are written in books or told by authority or some scientists or experts, we are actually dishonoring ourselves. We're not trusting ourselves. In my own journey, when I was creating some sort of crises in myself, I quickly realized that if I did create this crisis, well, then I'm well prepared to actually heal myself and manifest good life without crisis. We don't need to create crises to actually change for good, because we have this capacity to do this. And we need to learn to trust ourselves. We have the most reliable navigation system there is within ourselves.
Hello, I'm Joyce Heller, and my website is my name, joyceheller.com, and I'm a psychic medium, and I'm an author, radio, TV host, and I'm here to serve. Manifestation is very important because I wrote a book, which is probably not even available anymore, but it was called Calling All Angels, and in Calling All Angels, it's a book of manifestation about how you can bring into you what you really desire. But there are certain cosmic rules that need to be addressed as well, such as, is it in keeping with your soul's destiny? You want somebody else's husband? You know, it's like, it's going to be a very karmic situation. So manifestation has caveats with it. And that's my answer to manifestation. Yes, it does work, but it has to be of the light, and it has to be in keeping with the greatest good of all concerned. You really, there are cosmic laws that say you really don't infringe on anyone else's karma, or call it what you will, whatever you will, soul's destiny. It has to be what's right for you and without harming others. So.
Hi, I'm Bev, and I'm from the beautiful Fleurieu Peninsula. Well, I've actually heard this very recently about requesting something to the universe that you think you probably can't handle yourself. So you'd make 2 columns, and on one of the sides, you'd put the things that you know you can achieve for sure. And on the other side, you'd put from the universe, and you'd write down all the things you really, really want. And you just leave that, and you stick it up somewhere and leave it to the universe.
Hi, I'm Jaylin, and I'm from South Australia. I think it's been practiced for me since a very young age, growing up with people and being surrounded by people around me that see that as a practice and put it into action. So I was able to learn from them. So I'd say it's not really been a decision of, oh, I'm going to manifest this. It's just a reminder. I've been reminded to focus on what I want constantly, see it, visualize it, and then it plays into action in many facets of my life. So one example would be, I definitely think the Fringe show, I did an Adelaide Fringe show, which was a tribute live performance, and all the elements that I saw in as a young person being in that environment seemed close to impossible, but I didn't see it as impossible. I just saw it as, oh, well, that's just how it's going to be. And hence, you know, the production level that I incorporated into it, all of those things just happened, and it was all a part of it. And I look back at that and I go, oh, wow, that it was because I didn't question it. It just is. And then so forth, it became what it was. So yeah, no, that's just one example, but it happens in all areas of my life with everything. Yeah.
Here's my tip on manifesting. Don't buy the lottery ticket unless you really, and I mean really, believe you can win it. So often we give a passing thought to something such as buying a lottery ticket when the internal dialogue is saying, why bother? You won't be winning. The conflicting thoughts will ensure a contrasting vibration, placing you out of alignment with the ability to manifest this. So first, having the belief of something being possible is a crucial step to becoming a conscious manifester. And I hope these stories today have helped remind you of just how powerful you are, whether it be something small or something life-changing. The next step is to move from a belief to a knowing. To believe in something is a very different vibration to a knowing. A knowing comes about from individual personal experience that basically cannot be questioned. To do this, I encourage people to test the manifestation process. Start by connecting with Source or the universe or God or whatever language you use. Ask for something to be manifested, such as simple cup of coffee gifted to you from somebody or a feather to appear in your path. The key here is to ask for something that you already believe is possible. Then as this manifests, document this as evidence of the process. You keep working on this test and measure and documenting your experiences. And over time, you'll start to recognize patterns that are helping you to be in alignment with that which you desire, as well as gaining awareness around when you are out of alignment. The more and longer that you test and measure manifesting and documenting the evidence, the more you will move from a belief to a deep and unshakable knowing. Knowing just how powerful you are as a co-creator with Source. Happy, conscious manifesting. And as you consciously bring in that which you desire, we would love to hear from you. I want to hear your stories. So if you'd like to share, head to our show website, lifesource.global, or to janedonovan.com.au. With blessings and gratitude, have a divine day manifesting all your heart desires. You've been listening to The Park Bench with host me, Jane Donovan. To reach out to me, head to my website, janedonovan.com.au, and have a gorgeous day knowing you really are amazing.